everyone. Thanks again for tuning into Sin's Workshop. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. So, today we're going to be talking about The Honeys by Ryan Lasala. This is a young adult. It's categorized as horror, and I really don't think that fits it. I mean, it's definitely weird, I want to say. It's a little trippy. It is a little trippy. I mean, there are some horror elements near the end of the book, but for like 3/4 of the novel, it's not really horrifying. It's just that last quarter that is somewhat horrific. But I digress. The story follows Mars, who is investigating his twin sister's untimely death. And the story opens up with her attacking him. I mean, she is out for blood. Even though she says, I've always loved you. Like, she's out for blood. And as the story progresses, we learn that, the past couple of years, they haven't really been as close as they used to ever since he left the Aspen Conservancy Summer Academy. Whew, talk about a mouthful. And he left because he was attacked for being gender fluid. And not just, I mean, he is gay, but for being gender fluid, he was attacked. And pretty much almost burned at a stake, you learn. So, quite horrifying. Ever since then, he didn't want to go back to this camp, but after his sister's death, he recounts something with that camp is the reason my sister went nuts, and I'm going to find out what. So he goes back to the camp and he meets the Honeys. Now, the Honeys are like the select group. I guess you could just imagine the plastics from Mean Girls, except they're really rather nice. The Honeys, they keep to themselves and they take care of the beehives at the back of the school. It started out as kind of like a work study for girls who couldn't afford to go and attend this prestigious summer academy, and it blew up into something else, something more. I will say, I really don't want to give anything away because there's a lot of crucialness to the story. I will say I did love Mars as a character. Mars is unapologetically themselves, and I absolutely love that. They will wear their nail polish. They will dress against conformity and the social status that says, oh, boys have to dress in this way and girls have to dress in this way. And he is like, well, fuck that. And I'm for that 100%. I do like that a lot, and I think it's really empowering to see that come to life in the story, that Mars is unapologetically themselves and has learned that I'm not going to take your shit and I will defend myself and call you out on your bullshit and use my prestige and wealth and power to blackmail you if I need to. I mean, he pulls no punches, and I think that that's great about him. I will say there were some parts near the end. I think it's just because of the pacing of the story. It was hard to follow. It was a little hard to follow overall near the end. I had to keep going back to reread pages, which to me is always kind of very annoying, even if I do end up liking the story, like I did with the Honeys. But it is a bit of a hindrance to me because I was getting a little lost in that last quarter. I do like the message, the way that women are treated. You're seeing it through, I'm going to say, the lace. You'll find, if you read the book, you'll find out what the lace is. The way women are just held to a certain standard, to be used and just thought of as lesser I love that point in the book near the end where they say, "We are not your girls." I'm like, that was super empowering. It really was an incredible moment in the story. But other than that, I mean, it was a little hard to follow once you were in the lace. I did like the message, and I got the message, thankfully. How La Salle is talking about, hey, this is how women are treated, and it's not right. This is how people who don't fit to gender conformity are treated, and it's not right. And I liked that about the story. I do like the girls at the end of the book, as well as Mars, taking agency, reclaiming their agency. I thought that was very, very empowering. And I like how the girls come together at the end and stand by one another and stand by Mars. So ultimately, I really did like the book. It was a little hard to follow, but I'm going to go ahead and give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. That last quarter, it really is one of my pet peeves when I have to keep going back to reread pages because the pacing is just so quick, but the writing is just not as clear as I would like it to be, so I end up getting lost in the lace and have to keep going back to reread much slower, much carefully what exactly is happening so that I can follow it. That's just one of my personal pet peeves. But it was trippy. I will say that. It was a trippy book. So once again, 3.5 out of 5 stars. If you want to go ahead and purchase the book, I will include links in the description of the podcast on where to purchase the book. And on that note, I hope you all will continue to support me here by liking this podcast, subscribing to it, and sharing it with all your book loving friends. You can also become a supporter on Buy Me a Coffee, Ko-fi, Patreon, or by purchasing one of my handmade candles on my Etsy store. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, happy reading.